How important is difficulty level for the games that you play? Do you like to have a selection available? Do you prefer a challenge? Do you think that games should always have an easy mode so you can progress? Sometimes games demand a lot of your time just to be able to reach a level of skill in order to play them properly, and depending on how old you are, you may not have that kind of time available, and what might be a fun game becomes a game that you just really don't have the time to play. Tell me about what you think. What is important to you in terms of difficulty level? Does it matter? Do you want an easy difficulty? Do you want a hard difficulty? Do you want to be able to play through a game again at a harder difficulty level because, well, you liked it the first time and you'd like a greater challenge this time around? What does it mean to you? Let's take a look at a few examples.
Let's take a very difficult game as a first example. A game so difficult that people fear it. A game that terrifies those that even think about it. I am, of course, referring to Tetris. Okay, Tetris may not really be considered a difficult game, but it can be. The better you are, the more difficult it becomes. Like many early arcade games, or those meant for a system such as the Atari 2600, the difficulty of Tetris increases the longer you play. When starting from the beginning, pieces begin to fall at a slow rate, giving you time to think about how to stack them. As you complete lines and progress up through the levels, the speed increases. Your best laid plans suddenly start to rely on instincts and general strategy versus ideal placement. One mistake might end the game. The same mistake made by a veteran player might be recoverable. This version for the NES gives you the option to start at a higher level. I feel that Tetris is a fun game for many ages and many skill levels, and that is a good thing. If you stick with the same system and examine games such as Ninja Gaiden or Battletoads, you now have two challenging games that demand skill. Even if you could use a cheat device, such as a Game Genie, to add unlimited lives or continues, you are still tasked with being able to perform in order to progress. This is where the walls of time, or the walls of ability, could be the end of the line for many gamers. For others, completing either of these titles can feel very rewarding. My last example is a more modern game, Horizon Zero Dawn for the PlayStation 4. This game is much more complex in nature versus something like Battletoads or Ninja Gaiden of decades past for multiple reasons. Number one, and perhaps the most obvious, is that there is a difficulty selection, a fairly wide range actually, as more difficulties were added after the game's release. HZD is a game that delivers both combat and storytelling. For those interested in the combat and the challenge possibilities, Ultra Hard is offered. For those who care more about the storytelling and would prefer a shorter, easier route when it comes to engaging enemies, Story difficulty greatly reduces damage dealt and lowers damage received. Two different gamers can experience the same game in different ways and enjoy it for different reasons. As for the second complexity trait, some difficulty depends on your approach to combat. Silently picking off your enemies at a harder difficulty level might be a strategy that helps one's own preservation. Of course, at the same time, perhaps you aren't very patient and prefer a more direct approach, which is what I did on my second playthrough when I chose to play on Ultra Hard. I felt comfortable enough with the combat that I wanted to maintain an adrenaline rush while fighting. The results, at times, were absolute bedlam. So how important is a game's difficulty level, be it easy, hard, or flexible, to you? What games do you feel deliver your desired level of difficulty? Let me know in the comments. If you have an idea for gamer questions, you can submit it via the social links found in the video description. I look forward to hearing your response for this episode's question, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.